Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Minecraft Disney World. This week we're taking a look at a attraction that is in Tomorrowland. It's been there since opening day, and it is once again based on a ride from Disneyland. It is the Tomorrowland Speedway. Now, the Tomorrowland Speedway has gone through a couple of different names. You might know it as the Grand Prix Raceway. You might also know it as the Tomorrowland Indy Speedway. Or if you're on the West Coast, you might know it by the name that it is in Disneyland, which is the Autopia. It actually is also called something else in Tokyo Disneyland, which is the Grand Circuit Raceway. So clearly, a lot of names everywhere. But we're taking a look at the Tomorrowland Speedway. Now, what it is, if you've never been on it, it is basically a race car attraction where you get into an actual gas-powered vehicle and you hit your pedal and you drive on this sort of fixed track, and there are multiple tracks next to each other, and it goes around this circuit and then closes off. It's a cool little ride for, I think, younger people. I remember being young myself and being really excited to ride it because it was my way of feeling like I was driving a car. What's interesting about it, and I think the history is really important to give context here, because a lot of people might look at it today and wonder why such a ride would exist, because it seems very simple and it's not fast. They're slow vehicles and it's not very exciting. But what the Autopia, or I keep calling it the Autopia, but what Autopia was meant to represent when it opened in 1955 was this future of multi-lane limited access highways. And you have to understand, highways today are nothing special because they're everywhere. But in 1955, President Eisenhower hadn't signed the interstate highway legislation yet. So highways were a very novel idea. They didn't really exist in the scale that they do today. So this concept of multi-lane limited access rides was a concept of the future, and it was something that was very exciting, especially because at that point we were entering the Cold War, and there was a lot of optimism about what the future would look like, which is why Autopia is in Tomorrowland, because it was a futuristic concept at the time. Now, the opening day attraction here in the Magic Kingdom, it opened on October 1st. It opened as the Grand Prix Raceway, and it was based on the International Car Race rather than future roadways. And at that point, because it was the 70s, so highways did exist, it wasn't as much a futuristic idea as it was something that we already knew already. It was sponsored by Goodyear. They put all the tires on the cars. It changed a lot. In 1994, they remodeled Tomorrowland, and they removed part of the track and they shortened it to make room for Mickey's Birthday Land, which was supposed to be a temporary installment to celebrate Mickey's birthday, which was around 87. But it ended up becoming a semi-permanent installment, which later became known as Mickey's Toontown Fair. They then dropped the Grand Prix, and they just called it Tomorrowland Indy Speedway at that point. But everything more or less stayed the same. It looked the same. And then in 2008, they just dropped the Indy, and it became the Tomorrowland Speedway. Now, there's some interesting rumors about this. I haven't seen any confirmation, but it's said that because the cars do actually emit exhaust because they run on gasoline, that the cast members who work the attraction get a little extra compensation. I think it was like 20 cents extra an hour because of just sort of having to be around the fumes for hours and hours. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've heard. In any case, it's a ride that I think a lot of young kids would enjoy. It gives you that sort of sensation of getting to drive a car. You may not be driving freely, but it's when you're that young, it's exciting. And I think a lot of people who might enjoy it who are older probably do so for the nostalgia factor. In any case, while it's open, it's worth checking out and seeing what it's like. You could definitely hear it as long as you're in Tomorrowland. It's almost become an iconic sound for the area. This has been Minecraft Disney World. I hope everyone has a fantastic week and you make the most of whatever you're doing. And I hope you all join me here next week when I pick another attraction and we explore its history. Bye, everyone.